Hi guys, it's Rach and I'm back today with another foundation review. I haven't done one for a while, but these are my favorite types of videos to watch. And I'm going to be reviewing the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation because I've finally got my hands on it. I've been trying to get this foundation for the longest time, and in Australia there has been some incredibly bad stock issues, and trying to get some of the lighter shades has been pretty much impossible. Quite an expensive foundation, so we're going to test it out, talk you through all the details. I'm going to put it on my face so you can see it going on, and then we will check back in at the end of the day to see how it wears, and I'll give you guys my overall thoughts. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy foundation reviews, and leave me a comment letting me know what foundation you would like me to review next. I do have my hands on, oh, I can't see it, where'd it go? This one. So if you'd like to see this, let me know, or something else. Leave me a comment. Okay, so let's get the key facts out of the way. We have a frosted glass bottle. There is 22 mils of product in the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. So it's a little bit less than your standard 30 mils or 1 fluid ounce. However, it is made to be highly pigmented, so you're supposed to be able to stretch the foundation further. At least that's what the claims say. You do have a lid, and then inside we have a twist-off cap that has a plastic ball applicator here, which is supposed to be used to dispense the correct amount of product required to get a full face of the foundation. It is very pretty. It will look gorgeous on your vanity, probably not so practical for travel. Some of the key claims according to the brand is that it gives flawless full coverage in an instant. With this first to market foundation concentrate, the revolutionary formula offers twice as much pigment as the leading full coverage foundation, but in an oil-free base that blends instantly across the complexion to completely cover pores, blemishes and other imperfections in the thinnest possible layer that lasts after 24 hours. So we've got long wearing, we've got high coverage, we've got oil free. It's also paraben, sulfate and phthalate free, contains a patented golden mica to give the complexion a more radiant real life glow. It's supposed to blend effortlessly and meld with the complexion for a smooth, soft matte finish. So it kind of got contradicting there. It's supposed to be a radiant real life glow with a soft matte finish. Less is more with this foundation. You can use 1 to 2 dots for a sheer natural coverage, 3 for natural to full coverage. Okay, I'm going to pop my hair out of the way so we can get onto the demo portion where I talk you through some other things like color. But first, it does recommend that you use the product with the coconut water primer from Marc Jacobs. I don't have that, so I'm going to use just a skin smoothing primer from Mecca. I'm going to use it on just one side of the face. Already from trying this foundation, I can definitely tell you that it is geared to a more oily skin type. If you do have dry skin, it actually recommends that you mix it with the coconut water primer or even a few drops of your favorite facial oil. So if you are on the dry side, keep that in mind. That's probably something that you're going to need to doctor a little bit to make it work for your skin type. But for oily girls out there, rejoice, because this may be a really, really good foundation for you, particularly if you like your more matte finishes. So I'm going to shake it up because it definitely needs a good shake. Now, I have found that less is definitely more with this foundation, and you don't have a lot of play time. So you want to just apply a couple of dots at a time and then work them into the skin. I just realized my foundation brush is missing. 1 second. So it really does spread quite far, and I feel like you do need to work to get that to happen, but it is important to do that because the one thing I see with a lot of people applying this foundation is they apply so much. And I've found that if I do that throughout the day, it will crack, particularly in areas where you have a lot of movement, so maybe on like your smile lines or in between the eyes. So definitely start off with a thin layer, working in small sections, and then build up where you need it. I'm going to apply another couple of dots to this side of the face. I still don't find at this point that you have full coverage. You have maybe borderline medium coverage at this point. However, you can build. I just recommend building in only sections where you need it, because even though this foundation can be built up, there is that potential for it to get a little bit heavy, a little bit mask-like. I just turned off my ring light just to see if that gives you a little bit more of a better idea as to how the foundation is looking on my skin. I can still certainly see little marks. A lot of the redness has been removed, but my skin still looks like skin. It definitely has a matte finish. If you are looking for a glow, this one is not for you. I'm going to take a little bit more just on the dropper. And I'm always going to use it a little bit like a concealer. Another thing I should have mentioned with the packaging is that it definitely has the tendency to get really messy. So you've kind of got to be really careful when you're popping the applicator back in. Otherwise, you're going to have product everywhere really quickly. I will take a sponge. This one is from Real Techniques. I'm going to dab it over to show you that you can apply with a beauty sponge that is damp. However, I think I prefer a brush just because you get the product to spread out and you use less product. It's a little bit quicker as well. But if you do have dry skin, I would say that you're going to like the effect that a damp beauty sponge gives you, because it just gives you that slightly more hydrated look. But be warned, it does take a while to actually build up the product and spread it out. It's a lot more tedious than it is using a brush. So there you have it. That's with sort of 1.5 light layers of the product, and you do definitely have a pretty decent coverage. It's not quite full, but it's definitely medium, pushing high coverage, and this is probably where I would stop personally. In terms of shade, I'm wearing shade number 26 Bisque Medium, which is a fairly decent match for my skin at the moment. I'm probably sitting at about an NC 25 in MAC because I do have a little bit of residual tan left over, and I did blend it down a little bit, but to be honest, my head pretty much matches my neck and my body. I find the shade range extremely confusing. There are 22 shades in the range, which is fantastic. However, the way that the numbers run and the jumps in shades is quite difficult to navigate. So it's definitely one that I think if you can get to a store, swatch, try, test it out on your skin, because you may not be the shade that you think you are. For example, this is shade number 26, which has the same descriptor, which is fair, as shade number 22 and shade number 27, just different undertones. So shade number 22 is supposed to have a fair with pink undertones, 26 is supposed to be fair with neutral undertones, and then 27 is supposed to be fair with warm undertones, even though 27 is called Bisque Neutral. See what I mean? Just having a quick look at the ingredients list, I can see alcohol, although it is low on the list. I can also see iron oxides and titanium dioxide. I can't see any specific mention of SPF though, so we'll do a flash test and see what the flashback is like. Reviewing the photo, I'm not 100% convinced either way. My face does look quite pale, but then so does my neck. So I don't know if I'm getting a specific white cast or it's just because I'm lighter and the flash is quite bright. So I think you're okay with flash photography at this point. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and I'll check back in with you guys later. But I did want to quickly mention price because I know that is definitely a key factor when deciding whether you want to pick up this product or not. The recommended retail price is 79 Australian dollars or 55 USD. So definitely on that upper price range there. I did do a little bit of maths because we always feel like we get a little bit price gouged here in Australia. So if you were to add a 10% sales tax, so bringing the price up to $60.50 USD, then popping that amount into XE, which is the currency converter, at this current time, $60.50 US brings it to $79.33 AUD, which doesn't include the fact that the bank doesn't actually give you this exchange rate or taking into account shipping costs or staffing costs or anything like that. So the actual price in Australia is pretty comparable to the US price given the current exchange rates. So I'll come back to you guys later and we'll see how the foundation is wearing. It's now just about to hit 5:30 and I've had my makeup on for about 8 hours. I realized that I forgot to actually show the time at the start of the day. It was quite early. I wasn't quite with it and the video might be a little bit all over the place, but 8 hours is a decent amount of time, I think, to be able to see how the makeup is wearing. I did actually go for an hour's walk at about like 3 till 4 and it's about 30 degrees outside and quite humid. So if it held up against that, I got a little bit sweaty. So it's doing pretty well. I can see that most of my foundation is still intact. I've lost a little bit around here, but that was probably from my sunglasses, which is fair enough. I also can see just a touch of, I don't know, a little bit like of oxidization around. I don't know if it's like the blemishes, if it's because of concealer, although I didn't really use any extra concealer. It's kind of been where I've built up the foundation a little bit. I really do think you kind of need to keep it in quite thin layers, but given the fact that I ate a few times today and I've rubbed my nose quite a bit because I had a bit of a runny nose and a sniffle, it's still there, and it's intact enough that I'd be okay going out in public. As you can probably see, it is definitely more glowy than it was. So my natural oils have started to come through. I had applied a super, super light layer of powder. I used the Charlotte Tilbury, what is this one called? The Airbrush Flawless Finish. I haven't powdered again, and I also haven't blotted. So I think it's actually not looking too bad. It's still not so shiny that I'd be worried about it. I think maybe if I was going to be wearing it for another few hours, I'd blot and powder again to extend it. But at this point, it's not so cringeworthy that I couldn't go out in public with this amount of shine. It's actually quite a nice glow. If you have dry skin, I don't think this is going to be the foundation for you unless it works well with mixing it with an oil. And I haven't tried that because I do have combo oily skin. I still feel like it settles a little bit around my nose and a little bit in those fine lines. So if you have more mature skin, you're going to have to be careful with this, probably around the eyes where you have any other fine lines on the face. If you like a matte finish, you're going to really enjoy this one. However, if you don't, again, I don't know about the golden mica and it being a radiant finish. For me, when I applied it initially, I feel like it was quite flat. And the only reason that it's kind of a bit more glowy now is because my natural oils have come through and I've been wearing it for 8 hours. So who would this suit? Somebody who's on the oilier side, normal to oily skin, somebody who has not a lot of fine lines and wrinkles, somebody who looking for good coverage, high coverage, somebody who's looking for a soft matte finish, somebody who's willing to spend the money, because it is a expensive foundation and it isn't perfect. You do have to work with it. So I think I'd probably give this about 3.75 stars out of 5. I am enjoying it. I do like it as a foundation. Probably not something that I'd wear every single day just because I'm happy with the lighter coverage, but a lovely product nonetheless. And if you've wanted to try it and it's something that you do want to splurge on, I do think it's worth at least giving it a swatch, trying to find your shade, maybe picking up a sample if you can. So I think that's it for the review. I'll include any other pertinent information in the description box below, so make sure you check that out. All my social media links are there as always, so please come say hi. Give this video a thumbs up, like I said, if you enjoy foundation reviews, and subscribe if you are new. I'd love to have you as part of my YouTube family. And other than that, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. My name is Rachel, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.